Hello and welcome to another modelling video. This is Alan from the McConaughey at YouTube with another model video. Today is a sponsored video where I have been sent this to review from Let's Resin, a 50-piece set acrylic pigmented water-based polyurethane thinned airbrush ready paint. I've been given the okay to unbox it, review it, demonstrate it, but most importantly, create a piece of art or model using it. It was well packaged and shipped by my local Amazon quite quickly, packed in a snazzy retail box with all the correct and required compliance information, everything clear English, with warnings and recycling hazard information. It is a bit confusing. There is a few titles when listing this online looking at prices. It has 50 components. It is sometimes called a 45 or 43 paint set. It also has 7 edition bottles at a total of 50. We'll be covering it. Each is well packaged in 20ml dropper bottles with little stoppers inside and adjustable tips. The colors are incredibly vibrant and diverse. This is not a favorite medium of mine, but I am incredibly impressed with the instructions. It is very straightforward and transparent in what this product is. I am concerned at the 30 psi spray recommendation and thinning ratio. The troubleshooting is spot on in the nature of the paint, but we'll cover that more in this video. Inside, we're given 3 colors of primer. Paints and primers are very thick viscosity. 5 bottles of thinner. The reason why I say it's polyurethane thinned, as it's very similar to the likes of Vallejo and other wargaming based products from Europe, Spain, Warhammer. 22 bright colors, 6 metallics and 6 fluoros. This product retails for around 30 to 40 USD for my native country of Australia, $75 shipped. Per bottle, significantly cheaper than the competition, pending adhesion, pig quality and fillers. We'll be testing these spoons from the point of view of a scale modeler. Plastic spoons are injection molded in styrene, the same as hobby kits, looking for texture, adhesion and pigment density. We'll be spraying it through a oilless hobby compressor housing pattern as it hits over 20 psi and a normal running pressure around them. The small plastic compressor running is the lower teens and was unaffected. Passing it through a double action and trigger action airbrush with 0.5 and 0.3 needle nozzle. The first test is primer, opening the bottle and adding 1:1 paint and the provided synthetic thinner. It will be mixed externally in a shot glass so we can look at the viscosity. Straight out of the bottle is far too thick, but possible at extreme pressures with 0.5 or larger nozzle. Immediately I found at high pressure, no thinning has clogging issues and orange peel or texture from drying mid-air. Adding the recommended amount of thinner creates adhesion issues and far too thin to stick to the surface, sliding off. For even coverage, I found 3/4 part paint to 1 part thinner just to cut it down a bit to get it through the nozzle. We're doing more tests. The control was not ideal, but we did manage to coat the spoon. Pigment density and adhesion was not bad when nutted out. Another issue with clogging, I use these airbrush with solvent paints, lacquer and enamel. Slightest trace will a slime latex-like substance separated from the main water base, like oil in water. Very hard to flush out, demonstrating with a little bit of contaminate in this lacquer thinner. This is what's happening inside your airbrush. You really need to use an airbrush dedicated to water-based only and solvents only. It is possible to flush out, but things can go wrong, which has led me to spider eyes and adhesion trouble. This is all normal for acrylic water polyurethanes. I can't do my viscosity check in a glass jar as everything either sticks or slides off the side. Thinning is gradual. It does have a point where the paint breaks and does not stick. The thinner also makes the adhesion less effective, leading one to just struggle with thicker viscosity. The black is very vibrant. Pigment density is quite thick. It's giving me very similar vibes to the main brands such as Vallejo. There is a contamination of the spoon and it's not sticking too well. Everything so far is standard to the big brands and marketable as airbrush ready regardless of how thick it is or my point of view on the subject. The luster and finish is quite nice but very glossy. Spoon 2 with the 3/4 part paint, 1 part thinner is a huge improvement. A bit of spider eye as the airbrush will flush out contaminants more and more as more paint goes through. Do lots of tests and adjustments before you work on a main paint piece and practice painting lines on paper and better surfaces. White is also the ultimate pigment density tool as the pigment for it is very expensive, titanium or acrylic white. The cheaper brands tend to be transparent, so spraying over the grey and black has given me a solid colour and is able to cover a black spoon. Very impressive, if not for the chemical issues. This test is no thinner and it's really pushing and spluttering. The flow is quite restricted and it takes a lot longer to cover the entirety of the spoon. Stupidly in a 0.3 ml. With this test, I moved to 0.5 straight paint and 1/3 part water. The flow and adhesion was a massive improvement, started getting gradients and control. It's not separating and has tension, meaning there's probably the right chemicals in here, much like the thinner. Does start to break down a bit on the black glossier surface. Next, I mixed equal parts of water and thinner and 1 part to 3 part to the paint. It did craze a bit in the shot glass test, though had the best adhesion, applied the thinnest, little gradient, but kept the luster, adhesion and form on the spoon. Yellow also has pigment density issues, looked a tad dirty over the black, but it's not bad at all. We'll still have to practice appropriate undercoats. After mastering a good mix and ratio, we started playing with tighter controls and lines. Looking at a range of cascading shades of colour, I used a dark medium and light red and painted equal third parts of the spoon for a gradient effect. This was easily achieved in a 0.0 nozzle. With a good ratio, mixing externally, 0.3, 0.5, the airbrush completely dedicated and flushed out from any contaminants. The orange came out pretty good too. This is one of the fluoro colours. It's pretty much just bright. Lastly is the metallic. From my community, we use natural metallizers with real metal powders mixed in binder, resin and the vehicle solvent. It's a natural non-acrylic pigment which you cannot artificially recreate so well. These were the weakest elements of the paint set and almost came out as a micro pearl. It has an almost fantasy glitter appeal, but you can't utilize this for realistic metals in scale subjects. Cleaning was very straightforward, just like the instructions. The paint is water soluble and can be flushed and washed away with excess water well before it dries. Apply it in the cup, wipe it out, jet bubble it by putting your finger at the end of the nozzle and putting air through, mixing the entire internals and spraying the whole content out in a cup or tissue. It will need to be flushed 2 to 3 times until it's completely clean. There may be traces of residue, so wipe out the crown, remove the needle and wipe that. If you want to have a very thorough clean, almost like a wash or a solvent, you can either mix a bit of dish detergent or use straight window cleaner and flush that through your airbrush. This should chemically remove everything in there even if it's dried. Practicing this will grant you results as such, but residue will make it you can't use solvents in it anymore without a heavy solvent flush. For the lineup, some of the spoons had to be repainted. There was a few bits of fisheye, again contamination and poor adhesion as nothing was primed. Further tests over the primer has resolved these issues. The colours are very bright and vibrant with a few tones in each element of the colour wheel, with highlights and extra add-ons from the fluoros and a glittery pearl micro that pretends to be metallic that is a bit not so lustful or exciting unless you have a dedicated use. A nice palette for character figures, almost party kids-like projects, nails, more of a fashion nail cute aesthetic. Very much lacks finishing clear coats like a gloss and a matte, not so much in earthier brown, darker tones or flesh and skin tones, which will be possible to mix this and a colour wheel, but that is extra effort and containers required. But for the price, an excellent starter set, and Vallejo or other brands could be added as extra bottles on top of. I was most definitely requested by the brand ambassador to do a art piece or two in demonstration of the use of this paint. I picked out a Elmeth from Mobile Suit Gundam and choosing to recreate the scene from gquuuuuux where it's pulled out of the ocean. It's a quick test practice piece where I'm doing a little experimental sculpting water effects using this paint and rigging some other stuff for effect. Nothing too serious. The Elmeth was 3D printed in resin off a Mono X Anycubic printer, filling extra space from a previous test and mothballed for a very long time. Water effect was sculpted on the wood base, creating the rough texture of a diorama and a smooth texture of a machine or character. As seen in the video's intro, both pieces was primed a very thin coat. This stage is for adhesion of the surface to paint, as well as a uniformed colour to build up layers for shading, intensity, tone and vibrancy of the colours when base coating. For shading, I moved to black and produced a thin line, not as accurate or delicate as I can with solvents, and pre-shaded all the little nooks, crannies, vents and the edges, as well as the base of the waves on the water diorama. The water is utilising 5 tones of blue, 3-4 of them airbrushed, a couple of them hand painted with little effects as per my paint water effects tutorial. The Elmeth is shaded in 3 tones of green for that almost vintage 80s Monster of the Week mobile armor look from the original. Some details such as the purple above the viewing port, the thrusters and some water streaks from the anime cells were hand painted. Finishing off with some touch-ups, a little bit of paint on the waterfall effect, a sludge wash, which is a different product altogether, and clear coating it in gloss, starting with an acrylic neutral floor polish to bury it away from a lacquer 2-part deep gloss to give it that wet, pulled out of the water look. This is also important to see how solvents sit on top of this and if it does eat through it or not. Final result is very satisfactory and pretty happy. What was meant to be a few tests laid on top of a quick lazy build turned out to be quite an inspirational piece of art that I thoroughly enjoyed and will keep with pride in recreating said scene. And the best part in the nature of the product, this project would not have exceeded a few dollars, being made and finished with cheap materials at a fairly high level. Another amazing factor of water-based acrylic pigmented polyurethanes, due to their adhesion and very thick nature, they are absolutely amazing hand painting paints for miniatures and figures like wargaming, D&D and Warhammer. I have this average, very old 3D scan, 3D printed proxy replica of a Tallarn Desert Raider from the older aspect of the Warhammer lore, originally a metal mini from 30 years ago. It's a little shallow in detail with very subtle folds and ridges, and came out of a resin 3D print test from a few videos ago. With a fine synthetic brush and wet palette effect, I'm blobbing small amounts of drops of paint and mixing them together to achieve more earthy and militant tones, and applying in the very viral slap chop method, though without practice. My first 28mm mini, easily 15 or so years. The material bit onto the surface pretty well, blended nicely, dries between layers in a suitable amount of time. I cut the paint at various gradients with straight up water and cleaned my brush with water. I was sufficiently able to prime the whole piece thinly, colour in pieces, do a wash, and then shade, followed by dry brushing without issues on each component of clothing or accessory. It was fine, but with the whole colour wheel, I am able to mix what I do need, though again, I wish for more matte tones and earthier colours, maybe a flesh to make life easier. The results are not White Dwarf magazine amazing. I'm a big fan of the original sculpt, and the photo shoot just gives me that 90s nostalgia. Very cool, absolutely love it. Please forgive the bad job for my wargaming Warhammer followers. A quick wrap up for the conclusion of this video. I am reviewing the Let's Resin 50-piece paint set of water-based polyurethane acrylic paints that were donated to me freely to create a piece and test. It is incredibly cheap in the US and Australia and widely available, including many other countries. This behaves completely differently to Japanese and traditional hobby paints such as alcohol acrylics, enamels and lacquers, compatible through airbrush. Wargaming and European painters would be far more familiar with it, such as Citadel or Warhammer paint, Vallejo, Army Painter, the water-based side of acrylics. It's vibrant and more pretty colours, lacking earthier, matter flesh tones. The metallics are the only downside that I'm not too much of a fan of, but does have its uses. The extra primers and thinners is a massive bonus and much appreciated. $1 to volume level, very worthwhile. I definitely endorse it and recommend it. You will find the link in the description section to find and purchase it. There may be a discount code or not in an affiliate way. I'm not really interested in money, but happy to give you guys a bit of a fair shake. I like it, but am unlikely to return in doing a whole model, maybe just touch-ups. I'm still a very much solvent painter. But glad I was able to play and experiment with the medium again, which is a long time coming. The video took absolute ages to finish, troubleshoot, and dial in just right. I would like to apologise to the brand ambassador for taking so long finishing it and them being very patient and constantly messaging me for updates and reminding me to finish the project. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, until next time, stay tuned for further content and we'll catch you guys next time. Check the description section for details and we'll continually be updating and uploading weekly. I'd be much appreciated for a like or a comment, as this video was very time consuming. Catch you guys next time.